Ignoring means not to take someone into notice or refuse to accept someone intentionally. Someone may deliberately ignore you. But sometimes it happens that the intention of a person is not to ignore you, but becomes unconsciously. People ignore you when you have someone's hatred towards you. You have done some things with them, due to which they ignore you. In this article, we are sharing some inspiring ignore quotes, which will help you to know more about ignoring someone. Best ignore quotes. One, if someone is going out of his way to ignore you, he is not ignoring you, he is obsessed with you. Ziad K. Abdelnour. 2. To ensure peace of mind, ignore the rules and regulations. George Ade. Ignore negative people quotes. Three, I've learned to ignore the negative people and just be a living example of confidence and self-love. Koudia Diop. 4. Never ignore a gut feeling, but never believe that it's enough. Robert Heller. 5. It is easy to ignore responsibility when one is only an intermediate link in a chain of action. Stanley Milgram. 6. When something comes to my brain, I don't ignore it. You never know what it's going to turn into. Casey Musgraves. 7. To have a better life, ignore your fears. Mehmet Murat Ilden. Motivational ignore quotes. 8. Please ignore rumors. I've had them for years, and you have to just let them go over your head. Don't take them personally. Emma Bunton. 9. Everyone knows the more you chase something the faster it runs, and the more you ignore something the faster it comes. Roshan Fagan. 10. To worship the product and ignore its development leads to dilettantism and reaction. Hans Hofmann. 11. A man who is deprived of criticisms is a miserable and a poor man. A man who ignores or refuses or fears criticisms is a foolish man. Mehmet Murat Ilden. 12. If you react every time someone says something foolish, you're gonna waste a lot of life. Learn to ignore. Fute Balta lecturer. 13. Once I set my sights on a goal, to ignore the fear and keep moving forward until decision time. Dan Brodsky Chenfeld. Getting ignored by someone quotes. 14. Nothing hurts more than getting ignored by someone who was once dying for your attention. Sarvesh Jain. 15. All the doors you ignored or refused to enter represent your uncreated fates. Mehmet Murat Ilden. 16. Ignore the loneliness, enjoy your presence. M.F. Moonsager. 17. God and I have decided to ignore each other. It's for the best. Robert Ferrigno. 18. The failure of a person is wrapped in his ignorance about his strengths. Israel Moore Ivor. 19. When people are putting pressure on me, I just completely ignore it. Zayn Malik. 20. If you ignore the mountain, doesn't mean the mountain will ignore you too. Tanvir Mazar. 21. You can ignore your heart and mind, but it will always find its way home. Shannon L. Alder. 22. The first stair to failure is ignorance. Keep learning by leaning on the lap of information and you'll take the lead. Israel Moore Ivor. Best ignore quotes for motivation. "23. You can never really ignore negative comments. There will always be some comments that will hurt you." Nidhi Mohan. 24. Everybody has a breaking point. It's tough to ignore the impulse to respond with anger. Andrew Schaefer. 25. You can't ignore the system and the power you acquire as an actor if you're in films that are successful. Saffron Burrows. 26. Stay true to yourself, engage with your followers, and ignore the critics. Ella Woodward. I hope you liked the above ignore quotes. Don't forget to mention the best line that you liked most from the above lines in the comment box below.